What's up, guys? It's D-Lo Films. Haven't been back in a minute. And I'll just tell you one thing, like, consistency is one of the hardest things. Like, I probably said that in one video. I don't know, I just haven't been having the energy. Like, for real. Lately, I've been playing sports, working, and I have no off days to, like, do what I want to do. And so I haven't been making videos, music. Some of you know, I'll post a link. I'll put a link in the description. I do music and I draw. Pretty soon I'm gonna start selling my art or doing cover art for SoundCloud artists and stuff like that. Maybe 10 or higher depending on how well I do. And you know, I should show you guys my drawings as well. But from here on out, I know this is gonna be a completely different channel. But today, I have a story for you guys. And this is when I got my license and the time I almost got in an accident in the same day. So, here we go. So, when I was going to get my license, I was with my dad, and we were going to the DMV. And it was a very rainy day. It was slippery outside, and it was not safe to go out, pretty much. But it wasn't, well, yeah, it was hard raining. So when I got to the DMV, you know, I saw my papers, blah, blah, blah. I was ready to take my test. And then when I finally talked to the lady was like, oh, it's too slippery outside. Oh, we'll stop when it starts raining. And in my head, I'm like, it's raining really hard outside. I don't know when it's going to stop raining. So that could possibly mean I had to wait here for like a couple hours. So I was like, I don't know what to do. Should I just leave? And I've been planning this. I scheduled to get my license like at least 2 weeks ago. And I had to reschedule it at least 5 times. And so I was not going to reschedule this. After that, it stopped raining, finally, for like 10 minutes. And in those 10 minutes, my dad went to the DMV to the counter and said, hey, it stopped raining. Can we take the test and, you know, get it finished with already? And they were like, yeah, let me go check. And this is what, it almost went downhill. The lady went back and there was like a little manager guy, you know, in charge of everything. It was so stupid to me because like the way they were checking the rain, they were looking at a radar that showed them it was raining. But really in reality, if you looked outside, it was not raining at all. And I was like, let's just take this test real quick. And it was not raining. And they were like, we cannot do it. It's like bad and weather and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's not even gonna take that long. And I've been training, so I know I can handle bad rain. I've been driving in bad rain with my permit. So get at your boy. Sat down for a couple minutes because they were disagreeing with us. They were like, you know, you can't be out here in bad weather. You can't do it. And so my dad got up one more final time. And in that final time, he let them know, like, my son needs to get his license today. And it's clearly not raining. Y'all looking at a radar off a screen, but if you look outside, it's not raining. After that, the dude got up and he was like, all right, you go take this kid to get his license. She grabbed the paper, boop, boop. Dad hit me up with the keys. I caught in my chest. I was like, yeah, I'm about to take this test. So like, we busted out the door. I had to grab the car. It was a rental car. So I pull in the little spot and the lady was like, oh, let me check your blinkers. Do your left blinker, do your right blinker, blah, 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 back up, park in and stuff like that. I covered that part. Boom, boom, ace. I did it real quick. And then she got in the car and she was like, okay, let's take us out for a ride. So got in the car, I zoomed off. I didn't really zoom off, but like I got in there because, you know, I wanted to make this snappy. It just got done raining hard. It might rain again. So then we got out. It was a pretty smooth test. It was not that hard. We just took a little cruise, a whole loop and a whole circle, and then came right back around. I would be more descriptive in this, but since y'all don't really know where I live, really, yeah. And I only made one mistake, and it was when when it's red at the light and you're turning right, and you can go, but only when there's no cars. Well, there was no cars on this side, but what I didn't know is that sometimes you have to watch if another car is coming in front of you, because they're taking a lane to go left. So as I was turning right, actually, it wasn't even my fault that this happened, but the guy, I was turning right, he zoomed straight off, trying to turn left, and I was just like, bruh, and I thought I was just gonna fail completely after that, because I skirted, like, the dude cut in front of me, I said, skirt! And I went the other side. It's like I gripped the wheels, like I was like, please, Lord. After that, I could see her checking on her little checkboard. Like, I was like, yeah, I done fucked up. And then after that, went back to the DMV. She was like, you did everything well. You only had one mistake, which is, of course, what I just explained. And yeah, that was it. And you know what's funny is that whole time I thought I failed because she didn't say if I had failed or not or passed. She just said I did good. And that whole time I was just waiting, and I was just like, oh, I passed it. My card, and left out. Now this is what the crazy part is. When I left, it started raining hard right when we leave. And so I'm like, okay, I got my license now. I go home. Well, first I go get some food, but I go home. We live in these back lanes. Well, to get to my house, you gotta go through some back lanes, and it's like 2 lanes, but going opposite directions. And there's hella trees. It was really slippery, and I was making sure that I was going like slow so I wouldn't slip. So on the way back home, I'm just talking with my dad, and he was like, yeah, so I'm proud of you, blah, blah, blah. See out of my rear mirror, it was the left mirror, and I look out of it, and I see this dude just speeding, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the dude, he just went onto the other lane where you're not supposed to be because this opposite car is going that way, and he just goes straight in front of me. And so I just see him go straight down the hill, and I'm following him on that lane to get to my house. And right when we catch up to him, all we hear is a skirt, and then he hit a tree, drifted off, and fell down this mountain, and his whole car was just shredded into pieces. And then I stopped. My dad was like, see, that's what happens when you get in an accident. And I was just like scared out of my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? My dad was like, we gotta check on this person. Park the car. He gets out the car, walks down the hill, and he opens the door. First thing that happens when he opens the door, dude falls out of the car. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is like a whole movie scene. And then he just like fell out the car. The car was smoking and everything, effed up in the front, and it looked like it had some type of tag on it, like he just got the car like not too long ago, like he just bought it or something, and he had to have it like for 30 days. I don't know how that works. But after that, somewhat walking up the hill, he goes sits on the hill for a little bit because he was like a little dazed, and I didn't see it at the time, but he came to the car, and all of a sudden his whole face is bleeding. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then we had like some napkins in the back, and he was like, D, give me some napkins. And as soon as I tried to give him some like paper towels or napkins like to wipe his face, dude just faints out in the car. And I'm like, what? And he's just like sitting there, and I'm like legit thinking he's about to die because he's just sitting there like, and I try to hand him something. He's like, wait bro, I can't think right now. And I'm just like, dude, like he had blood all over his face. I'm not tripping out. And this is what happened. My dad was like, okay, D, get in the passenger. We're going to drive him to the emergency room. We're going to take him to the emergency room. And so then the whole way there, he was like, oh, what happened to me? What happened to my car? Who are you guys? Where are you taking me? And we're just like, you crashed your car. Face is bleeding. We're taking you to the emergency room. He kept asking the same questions, and we kept giving him the same answers. And at that point, I realized this was so fucked up in the head from that bang and hit that like it caused him to just a little delusional and just keep like repeating the same questions. It's funny because as soon as we got to the emergency room, I was on Snapchat telling the story like, bro, this and that happened, like that's crazy, bro. And then everybody was like, bro, that's crazy. He went into the emergency room, drove back home, and I was talking to my dad how it was like crazy how I had just got my license and just almost got in an accident because of this dude speeding. But all in all, the dude called back the next day and said, thank you for taking me to the emergency room. Because during that time, he didn't know what the fuck he was saying. But that was during summer. I didn't tell it. So yes, that's my story. Oh, and by the way, I know I look different. I cut my hair. I wanted to have dreads, but you know, for one, I didn't have enough money, and I wanted to keep them like maintained, but the way my hair is like soft and have, you know, forget about, I'm gonna just talk about this later. Peace out, guys. It's D-Lo Films. I'll see you guys next time.